Set 6 months after the events of the first game, X is now the leader of the Maverick Hunters and is heading an assault on a production factory where a Maverick uprising is fomenting. Hey X, check it out, I'm popping a wheelie! I'm popping a wheelie! Oh my god, who could have possibly tipped off the Mavericks that their factory was going to be assaulted, besides this front-page newspaper story found in the game's instruction manual explicitly spoiling what the Maverick Hunters' plans were. This extra pun was absolutely designed for lame dads like me. Give me more of that ridiculous cheesy nonsense, Capcom, please. Fun fact, the giant purple robot you fight in the intro stage was made to look like co-designer Yoshihiro Suda. I could definitely see the resemblance. X is back to murder some more of his Reploid brothers, like this cucumber one, or Mr. Krabs, or this alligator. Come at me in the comments section, Florida people, I dare you. Additionally, there's a reindeer, bug, and this ostrich with an interesting neck design.
No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on. What? What am I fighting for?
Don't get too comfortable. This is a dangerous situation.
I thought the car was supposed to move us.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Can it? Ready, steady, ready, steady, ready, steady.
Mega Man, can you hear me?
This is Snake. Kept you waiting, huh?
Are you familiar with Big Chunk?
A scattered dream is like a far-off memory.
Gotta give it my all. Hope you're ready. We can't save the world from a CD player.
The development time for this game was less than a year, meaning the developers must have been pretty rushed, and it shows in some areas. Like, the final level is just Magna Centipede's level again, even though it's shown to be a separate location on the map. That doesn't make any sense. Sigma's Fortress in the middle of the North Pole just happens to have a replica Magna Centipede area in it. Why? Other ways the game feels rushed is its lack of creativity. There's a few new ideas thrown in, but mostly it's just the same exact game, but with new stages and less interesting bosses. I mean, I guess you could say every Mega Man game is formulaic, but that's fine if the bosses and stages are actually good. I remember liking X2 as a kid, but after playing it off the heels of the original, its flaws are pretty glaring. It's just kind of a forgettable, uncreative sequel that doesn't add much, and ultimately makes no difference on the overall story, save for one thing. In X2, X has to fight a newly formed group called the X Hunters, who, naturally, were formed by Sigma to hunt X. They consist of Surges, Agile, and Violin. Surges is a rough French translation of wisdom, Violin roughly means violent, and Agile means, well, agile. So you have Violent Guy, Agile Guy, and Wise Guy.
Oh, a wise guy, huh?
Originally, for the first game, the idea for the main antagonist were these three figures, but eventually they were amalgamated into Sigma. For X2, the concept of tall dude, short dude, fat dude was repurposed for the X Hunters. According to Inafune, the original plan was to round out the team with a female member and call them the Four Guardians, but the female member was scrapped for time. Sorry girls, maybe next time. They assembled Zero's remains and rebuilt him to fight the player, but of course that backfires and Zero ends up right as rain by the end of the game. So besides Zero being alive again, you could pretty much jump to X3 and nothing else would change. According to the game's designer, Yoshihiro Suda, Kenji Inafune walked into the office one day and said, "Hey, wouldn't it suck if Zero stayed dead? Let's bring him back to life." And that was that. Get used to Zero heroically sacrificing himself, only to be brought back to life shortly after. It's going to become a theme in the series. The game isn't all bad though. The X-Hunter bosses being randomly shuffled into different levels as sub-bosses made things more interesting. And certain upgrades, like the mid-air dash, really make you wonder how you ever lived without it. I love you, mid-air dash. Marry me. Also, best improvement of all, the explosions are blue now, guys. Let's talk about the special weapons. There's the Bubble Splash, the Crystal Hunter, the Magnet Mine, the Silk Shot, the Sonic Slicer, the Speed Burner, the Spin Wheel, and the Strike Chain. Some of these weapons are cool, like the Speed Burner or the Spin Wheel, but others, not so much. The strike chain is a cool idea in theory. I mean, who doesn't want a grappling hook like the freaking Batman? The problem is that its range is so short that you'll almost certainly never use it, even once.
Not once.
Is your strike chain not long enough? Does your partner laugh right at your face and ask if it's really extended all the way? Well, then you may want to order some HIMS, which of course stands for Here is More Strike Chain. And if the short reach of the strike chain doesn't make you feel like less of a man, the bubble shot certainly will kill any confidence you have left. X is supposed to be an advanced fighting Reploid. Why is he blowing bubbles? This isn't a 3-year-old's birthday party. Nintendo was really horny to show off their new CX4 chip that they were developing for Super Nintendo games, so Capcom made sure to make good use of it. The final fight with Sigma has you challenging a 3D wireframe, which, at the time, probably made people crap their pants in amazement. Truthfully though, the CX4 chip wasn't very impressive, but Nintendo was pushing hard on Capcom to use it, even insisting on having weekly meetings about how to implement it. A lot of the game's advertising even promoted the amazing 3D graphics it could render. According to the developers, the CX4 chip was a huge pain to work with, so it would only ever get used in Mega Man X2 and X3 cartridges. To think we could have had a more polished game if Capcom hadn't wasted their time making this admittedly sick-ass spinning logo. But that wasn't the only issue during development. Many team members from the first game went on to work other projects, and their roles were filled with a lot of inexperienced employees. According to an interview with game planner Sho Suge, work was constantly being delayed by the planning department, which meant that the character and software teams often had nothing to work on. This led to many of the developers playing an obsessive amount of Puyo Puyo while they waited for planning. X2 officially established Sigma's true nature as a computer virus, thus his ability to survive and merely adapt to new bodies throughout the series. You can't kill me, I'm a ghost, basically. Sigma also hints that Zero was originally created by Dr. Wily, which was later confirmed in Mega Man 2: The Power Fighters. This storyline gets touched on more later in the series, so we'll be coming back to this. Another interesting thing to point out is the theory that the leader of the X-Hunters, Surges, is actually Dr. Wily in some form or another. In the Japanese version of the game, he references Dr. Light, calls X Mega Man, and has an intimate understanding of how to rebuild Zero. Weirdly, all these references were completely omitted from the English version of the game. I always thought it was a fascinatingly bizarre choice to take the main antagonist from the original series and make him an unremarkable sub-boss in the X series who's killed off unceremoniously. Weird choice. X2 changes slightly depending on whether or not you've defeated the X-Hunters and acquired all of Zero's parts. If you got them all, Dr. Kane will revive Zero, and if you didn't, Sigma will revive Zero. The weird thing is that you don't really get anything for collecting all the Zero parts, other than not having to fight Zero, but this fight with Zero is awesome, and depriving the player of that doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, listen to this music, this is my jam. Technically, the reward for not fighting him is that you'll stand a better chance against the final boss. You see, Capcom thought it'd be cool to save the game before the Zero fight, and not after. So you have to fight Zero, then both of Sigma's forms, all without any health refills. It's absurd. Which brings me to my next point. This game is stupid hard. Compared to X1's challenging but fair difficulty, X2 just feels frustratingly cheap. Overdrive Ostrich does this unavoidable river dance football quarterback punting move that's impossible to duck under or jump over. The 3 X-Hunter bosses have attacks that are also completely unavoidable, and they don't really have any strong weaknesses. And while Sigma's wireframe form isn't too bad, his first form, where he gets freaking Wolverine claws, is patently unfair. His attack radius is basically half the screen, and it is simply not possible for a normal human being to dodge that. Also, why does Sigma keep getting all the cool weapons? Where's my lightsaber? Where's my Wolverine claws, huh? But it's not just the bosses, but the levels themselves that are badly designed and unfair. Magna Centipede's stage is a good contender for one of the most bullshit level designs because of these indestructible metal cubes that fall from the ceiling and instantly kill you, despite there being little to no warning when they'll come or from what direction. The Overdrive Ostrich level sucks too. It's a long stretch of desert that you're supposed to drive a bike through, but it explodes the moment it touches anything, meaning you'll have to run through giant stretches meant for a bike on foot. And while I'm complaining about stuff, there's too many bugs in this game. Magnus Centipede, Morph Moth, Crystal Snail isn't really a bug, but close enough. What happened to the badass Mavericks like Storm Eagle and Spark Mandrill, huh? Now I'm just fighting bugs.
One Spinator under attack! One Spinator engage enemy! One Spinator terrorize!
The secret Street Fighter move is back again, but this time it's the Shoryuken, and somehow it is even more convoluted than before to attain. And I guess that's my biggest gripe with this game. It's just a downgrade from the previous entry. Even little details from X1, like the stage changes depending on your boss order, are absent here. The world map does change after defeating a boss, so that's something, I guess. But it just goes to show that Capcom really didn't go the extra mile this time. And that's about all there is to say about X2. I know I've been hard on it, so I would like to mention how badass Flamestag's level is. You're climbing up an active volcano and avoiding enemies and lava while kick-ass rock music plays. It's a good time. And it makes up for some of the other bland levels like Bubble Crabs or Wheel Gators. Shosuge apparently hated the Flamestag song and wanted to cut it, but he got major pushback from the rest of the staff because they could appreciate what good music sounds like. Overall, this game is just kind of a rushed, super unbalanced, and less creative version of what we already played in X1. Fortunately for us, X3 is a lot better.
X この冬 X は進化するノンストップアクションロックマン X2 スーパーファミコンで発売中カプコン